On a note that can be categorized as unfortunate, this NFL player was killed in his home while maintaining his defense position as he would on the pitch as a rugged safety, just that this one time he was caught, standing in defense for his own family. In the entertainment world, where one could be quick to forget the downsides of fame that comes with popularity, a lot more happens beyond the injuries that could be life-threatening in the game of football. And one such experience is the life-claiming situation of NFL's Sean Taylor, whose life was tragically cut off during a botched robbery at his home. The tragic death of Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor, a renowned NFL star and safety for the Washington Redskins, tragically lost his life in a senseless act of violence on November 27, 2007. The events leading to his untimely death began with a planned robbery by a group of young men who mistakenly believed Taylor wasn't home. They targeted his Palmetto Bay, Florida, home after a previous encounter at a party with Taylor's half-sister. The intruders presumed the house was vacant, as Taylor was recovering from an injury and not traveling with his team. On the fateful night, 4 intruders broke into Taylor's home through a sliding glass door. Unknowingly to them, Taylor was present with his fiancée, Jackie Garcia, and their 18-month-old daughter. The sound of breaking glass alerted Taylor, who armed himself with a machete in an attempt to protect his family. He confronted the burglars, but one of them, Eric Rivera Jr., panicked and fired a gunshot. The bullet struck Taylor in his upper leg, severing his femoral artery and causing massive blood loss. Jackie Garcia immediately called 911, and emergency responders arrived quickly. Taylor was rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami. Despite undergoing hours of surgery, the damage to his artery proved fatal. He passed away the following day, leaving behind a grieving family and a devastated NFL community. A beloved athlete known for his talent and hard-hitting style, he was also celebrated for his personal growth and dedication to his family. Fans, teammates, and loved ones mourned the loss of a player who was just beginning to reach his potential, both on and off the field. In the aftermath of his death, Taylor's team, the Washington Redskins, honored him by retiring his jersey number 21 and wearing decals in his memory. The NFL community rallied around his family, ensuring Taylor's legacy endured. 3 days later, police arrested 4 men for the home invasion and shooting: Eric Rivera, Charles Wardlow, Venger Hunter, and Jason Mitchell. Eric Rivera Jr.'s involvement in Sean Taylor's death marked a tragic and disturbing case that unfolded over several years, from his arrest to his eventual sentencing. Rivera, one of the young men implicated in the botched burglary-turned-homicide in 2007, faced intense scrutiny from law enforcement and the judicial system. Shortly after Sean Taylor's death, authorities swiftly launched an investigation that led to the arrest of Rivera and his accomplice. The group, all from Fort Myers, Florida, targeted Taylor's property based on information they had gathered from his half-sister, who had previously been in contact with them. Rivera was apprehended within days of the crime after the police traced the suspects through phone records and tips from the local community. During his initial arrest, Rivera reportedly cooperated with authorities, admitting his involvement and providing a detailed account of the burglary. He described the sequence of events leading to the fatal confrontation, including his role as the gunman who fired the shot that struck Taylor in the leg. Rivera's admission of guilt played a significant role in shaping the case against him. Rivera's defense team argued that the shooting was unintentional, claiming it was a reaction to being startled when Taylor confronted the group with a machete. Despite this claim, Rivera's confession, along with physical evidence and witness testimonies, solidified the prosecution's case. During the trial, Rivera's confession became a focal point. Prosecutors emphasized his admission that he fired the weapon, countering his defense's assertion that he had no intention of causing harm. The jury ultimately found him guilty of both charges. Also, during his trial, Rivera testified that his confession was false and had been coerced by authorities. He argued that another person in the group fired the fatal shot from a 9mm handgun. Under questioning by defense attorney Janice Carruthers, Eric Rivera adamantly denied shooting Sean Taylor or discarding the 9mm handgun by throwing it into the Everglades. He also refuted claims that he wore Nike shoes matching prints found at Taylor's home, asserting he had not suggested burglarizing Taylor's property. Rivera testified that he only learned Taylor was the target while the group was driving across Florida. He said he found out they were just saying that Sean Taylor had money in his house and that they were just going to go in and get it, like they already knew where it was at. Prosecutors presented a videotaped confession in which Rivera described the events at Taylor's house, even illustrating the group's movements in diagrams. On the stand, Rivera claimed he had only parroted back details provided by investigators, who he alleged used threats against his family to coerce him to tell them his side of the story, and that they'll make sure nothing happened to his family. Rivera claimed the police said at that point he was going to jail because they were sure he did it, so he was forced to fold because it was about his family. During cross-examination, Assistant State Attorney Reed Rubin emphasized inconsistencies, noting that Rivera had acknowledged being read his Miranda rights before confessing. Rubin highlighted evidence, including burglary tools from Rivera's garage and phone records contradicting his testimony. Additionally, Rubin presented a letter in which Rivera attempted to pressure a witness into altering her statement. Rubin asked directly if he did shoot Sean Taylor, and Rivera denied shooting him. Rubin pressed further, questioning what Rivera stood to gain by lying. Despite his claims, the jury found him guilty of second-degree murder and armed burglary. Initially charged with first-degree murder, Rivera was not eligible for the death penalty due to being 17 years old at the time of the crime. In January 2014, Rivera received a 57-year prison sentence for his crimes. The judge delivered a sentence that reflected the severity of the incident, highlighting the premeditated nature of the burglary and the senseless loss of life that resulted. Rivera was just 23 years old at the time of sentencing and had been a teenager at the time of the crime. The lengthy sentence underscored the court's stance on violent crimes, particularly those resulting in death. Sean Taylor's family, friends, and fans closely followed Rivera's trial and sentencing. For many, the lengthy sentence provided a measure of justice, though it could never compensate for the loss of a beloved father, fiancé, and athlete. Taylor's father expressed gratitude for the outcome, emphasizing the need for accountability for the group's actions. Rivera's sentencing also brought closure to one chapter of the case, as the other accomplices faced separate trials and convictions. However, beyond the heartbreak of losing a son, his mother, Donna Jr., faced significant challenges in the aftermath of his death, including financial difficulties and strained family relationships. At the time of his death, Taylor's estate was valued at approximately $5.8 million, a significant reduction from the wealth he had accumulated during his NFL career. Sean had been generous with his money, frequently supporting family members, including his mother, by helping her purchase a home. However, since Taylor passed away without a will, Florida law dictated the division of his assets. The majority of his estate went to his 2-year-old daughter under the care of her mother, Jackie Garcia. Taylor's father, Pedro Taylor, also received a portion of the estate through a joint account. Despite her son's financial success, Donna Jr. received no direct inheritance from Taylor's estate. This left her in a tough financial position. She reportedly struggled to maintain the home Sean had helped her buy, eventually facing difficulties with property taxes. Making the situation worse, no other family members who had received shares of Taylor's wealth stepped forward to assist her financially. The family's estranged relationship worsened the situation, leading to a lasting feud. But before the tragic death of Sean Taylor and the lasting pain that followed, what was his life like? Let's find out. Inside Sean Taylor's NFL era. Sean Michael Maurice Taylor, born on April 1, 1983 in Florida City, grew up in challenging circumstances but displayed exceptional talent and determination that propelled him to stardom. He was the son of Pedro Taylor, a police officer, and Donna Jr. Taylor spent much of his early life with his great-grandmother, Olga Clark, in Homestead, Florida, in a modest household. From an early age, his athletic potential became evident, particularly in football, which he played passionately during his school years. Taylor attended Miami Killian Senior High School before transferring to Gulliver Preparatory School, where he became a standout player. At Gulliver Prep, he excelled on both offense and defense, leading the team to a state championship. His versatility as a player drew attention from top college recruiters and earned him a scholarship to the University of Miami, where he joined the Miami Hurricanes football program in 2001. At Miami, Taylor's skills flourished. He was a key player in the Hurricanes' defense and contributed to their 2001 BCS National Championship win. By his junior year, he became a unanimous first-team All-American, the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, and led the nation with 10 interceptions. Taylor also showcased his athleticism as a member of the university's track and field team. His collegiate success made him one of the most highly sought-after prospects in the 2004 NFL Draft. Sean Taylor declared for the 2004 NFL Draft following an extraordinary collegiate career at the University of Miami, where he solidified his reputation as one of the best defensive prospects in football. football. NFL scouts were particularly impressed with his ability to deliver punishing hits and read offensive schemes, qualities that translated seamlessly to professional football. The Washington Redskins selected Taylor as the 5th overall pick in the 2004 draft, signing him to a 6-year, $18.5 million contract. He quickly became a defensive force in the NFL, earning accolades for his hard-hitting play style and versatility. Over his 4-year career, Taylor was named to 2 Pro Bowls, 2006 and 2007, and was recognized as one of the league's top safeties. He was also posthumously named to the 2007 All-Pro team. His aggressive playing style contributed to his reputation as a game-changer. Despite his reputation for intensity on the field, his teammates noted his personal growth, especially after the birth of his daughter, Jackie, in 2006. Sean Taylor earned the nickname Meast, a blend of man and beast, during his tenure with the Washington Redskins due to his ferocious and physical style of play. His ability to deliver punishing hits on opponents while exhibiting exceptional athleticism defined his role as a safety. Taylor's style was a fusion of power and finesse, earning him respect among teammates and opponents. This moniker highlighted his dominance on the field, blending raw physicality with a strategic understanding of the game. Perhaps one of Taylor's most iconic moments came during the 2007 Pro Bowl, where his massive hit on punter Brian Moorman became legendary, epitomizing his hard-hitting style and intensity even in an exhibition game. Taylor's tragic death robbed the NFL of a generational talent. At the time, he was leading the league in interceptions despite missing several games due to injury. It is also important to note that Taylor began his NFL career wearing jersey number 36, but switched to the iconic number 21 in his second season, which has since become synonymous with his legacy. However, the Commanders have honored Taylor's memory in numerous ways, including retiring his jersey number 21 and inducting him into their Ring of Fame. His legacy lives on through tributes, his family, and the respect of football enthusiasts who recognize him as a transformative figure in the game. Meanwhile, Taylor was not only a football star, but also excelled in other sports during high school, including basketball and track and field. His versatility as an athlete was evident early on and laid the foundation for his physical dominance on the football field. However, before his sudden death, Taylor had a track record of legal troubles that haunted his legacy. Taylor's legal battles were a significant, though often overshadowed, part of his life and career. These incidents highlighted challenges he faced off the field during his rise to prominence in the NFL. In 2004, Sean Taylor was arrested for driving under the influence in Virginia. Although it was his first major legal issue as an NFL player, the case brought unwanted attention to the young star early in his professional career. Sean Taylor's 2004 DUI arrest occurred during his rookie year with the Washington Redskins, adding an early challenge to his professional career. He was pulled over on October 28, 2004, by Virginia state troopers near the Washington Beltway for driving 82 in a 55 miles per hour zone. The officers suspected Taylor was under the influence of alcohol. He was subsequently charged with driving under the influence and speeding. Taylor pleaded not guilty to the charges, and the case proceeded to court. His defense focused on disputing the evidence of intoxication, particularly the officers' claims regarding his condition during the stop. In March 2005, the case was dismissed after the judge determined insufficient evidence to prove Taylor was impaired. Despite avoiding legal consequences, the incident brought significant public attention and scrutiny to Taylor during the early days of his NFL career. Meanwhile, the most notable legal issue occurred in June 2005 when Taylor was charged with aggravated assault and simple battery. Sean Taylor faced significant legal challenges after an incident in Miami involving 2 all-terrain vehicles, ATVs, he believed were stolen from him. Taylor was accused of confronting a group of individuals, one of whom he suspected of taking the ATVs. The confrontation escalated when Taylor allegedly brandished a gun and issued threats. This led to charges of aggravated assault with a firearm and simple battery. Taylor denied the allegations, but the legal proceedings garnered widespread attention, affecting both his personal and professional life. This serious case led to his suspension from Washington Redskins training activities and a fine from the NFL. The NFL fined him $25,000, and the Washington Redskins suspended him from team activities pending the resolution of the case. The legal process was concluded in January 2006 when Taylor accepted a plea agreement. He pleaded no contest contest to misdemeanor battery, which allowed him to avoid a felony conviction. The court sentenced him to 18 months of probation and 60 hours of community service. The resolution of the case allowed Taylor to focus on his NFL career, but it left a lingering perception that the young athlete struggled with managing his temper and decision-making under stress. These legal issues, while troubling, were contrasted by significant personal growth later in Taylor's life. His maturity became more apparent after the birth of his daughter Jackie in 2006. By his final NFL season in 2007, Taylor was widely regarded as a disciplined player and a devoted father. His transformation was noted by teammates and coaches who highlighted the strides he made in balancing his personal and professional responsibilities. However, away from all these legal controversies, Taylor's perception as a force seems quite questionable. Based on known facts about Sean Taylor, his reserved and enigmatic public demeanor contrasted sharply with his fierce and expressive style of play on the football field. Taylor rarely engaged with the media and often avoided interviews altogether, preferring to let his on-field performance speak for him. Taylor's laid-back persona with the press was partly shaped by his focus on football and his private nature. He spoke softly, if at all, during mandatory media engagements and shied away from the spotlight that came with his success. His decision to limit interactions with reporters was also influenced by his tumultuous early years in the NFL, which included legal issues and intense public scrutiny. Taylor believed that keeping a low profile allowed him to focus on improving as a player and avoiding distractions. On the field, Taylor was a force of nature, aggressive, vocal, and relentless. This duality, being both fiery on the field and introspective off it, added to his mystique. His teammates and coaches often noted that while he was a quiet leader, his actions spoke volumes. Taylor's passion and commitment to the game were evident in how he trained, studied opponents, and played with an unmatched intensity. As Taylor matured, particularly following the birth of his daughter in 2006, his reserved nature was seen as a sign of maturity rather than aloofness. Those closest to him described a man deeply committed to his family and personal growth, becoming more open but still choosing to keep much of his life private. Taylor's choice to avoid the media ultimately allowed him to control his narrative to some extent, ensuring that his legacy was defined by his achievements and not by soundbites. This approach continues to be a significant aspect of how fans and the NFL community remember him, a man of few words but extraordinary actions. However, following his death, his daughter Jackie has continued to honor her father's memory through public appearances, including speaking at his Ring of Fame induction and participating in team events commemorating his life. However, Jackie is just one of the few people who has had something to say since Taylor's tragic passing. Another Washington player shared his experience with and since Taylor's death. Life after death and other tragic NFL occurrences. Brian Mitchell, a former Washington player, shared heartfelt sentiments about Sean Taylor despite never having played alongside him. Mitchell recognized Taylor's immense impact on the franchise and the fans, emphasizing how the player's passion transcended his presence on the field. Mitchell said, "One would think about the moments he gave his fans, and one would think about the legacy he left." He said this, acknowledging how Taylor's influence extends far beyond the game. Taylor's talent and dedication not only inspired those around him, but also created a lasting emotional connection with the Washington community. He became a symbol of resilience and excellence, demonstrating that his contributions went beyond mere statistics and highlights. Mitchell also reflected on the importance of Taylor's role as a father, underscoring how his memory lives on through his daughter. Speaking with evident pride, Mitchell noted that his daughter, Jackie, is doing great. His comments shed light on Taylor's enduring legacy as a parent who worked tirelessly to secure his child's future. Mitchell remarked and emphasized the pride Taylor's daughter must feel by saying her dad was at some point out there trying to make sure she had the opportunity to do what she wanted to do. This intimate connection to Taylor's family highlights the human side of a player often remembered for his on-field ferocity and commitment. Taylor's priorities as a father have become a cornerstone of the way he is remembered, painting a picture of a man who strived to provide for his family while achieving greatness in his profession. In August 2024, the Washington Commanders announced plans to erect a new statue in Taylor's honor. This gesture underscores the franchise's commitment to preserving Taylor's memory and ensuring that future generations understand his significance. Statues are rare in the NFL, reserved for individuals whose contributions leave an indelible mark. The announcement of the statue sparked renewed discussions about Taylor's legacy among fans and the media. Statues are more than mere physical representations. They are symbols of a deeper connection to the ideals and values a person embodies. For the Commanders and their fan base, the statue serves as a reminder of Taylor's unwavering dedication, athleticism, and the personal sacrifices he made. However, Taylor is often compared to legendary safeties like Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, Ronnie Lott, and Brian Dawkins. Each of these players has Hall of Fame credentials and their own unique strengths. Ed Reed was known for his exceptional ability to intercept passes and change the course of games with his ball-hawking skills. While Taylor demonstrated similar prowess in creating turnovers, his tackling and physical dominance were arguably superior. Another one is Troy Polamalu. With his versatility and playmaking ability, he is often cited as a peer to Taylor in terms of instincts and game-changing plays. However, Taylor's sheer physical presence and punishing hits were unmatched. Ronnie Lott is another one, who is a standard bearer for hard-hitting safeties and is often compared to Taylor for his physicality and leadership. Many view Taylor as a modern iteration of Lott, blending old-school toughness with new-age athleticism. Brian Dawkins was another iconic enforcer known for his intensity and versatility. Taylor's physical gifts and technical skills are often seen as a step above even Dawkins. Taylor's legacy is inextricably tied to the what-if question. Fans and analysts often speculate about how he would have continued to evolve and whether he could have surpassed the records and accolades of other legendary safeties. Despite his shortened career, Taylor's influence on the game endures, with younger players modeling their play after his aggressive yet intelligent style. However, the NFL has seen its share of tragedies, and the story of Sean Taylor, whose promising career was cut short, draws parallels to another devastating loss in the football world, the death of former NFL Pro Bowler Darrell Russell. Both figures left behind legacies of untapped potential and moments of brilliance overshadowed by sudden and tragic endings. Darrell Russell, a standout defensive tackle from the University of Southern California, was the second overall pick in the 1997 NFL Draft by the Oakland Raiders. Known for his dominant physical presence and raw talent, Russell earned Pro Bowl selections in 1998 and 1999, showcasing his ability to disrupt offenses and anchor a defense. Unfortunately, his career trajectory was marred by suspensions for violating the NFL's substance abuse policies, and his time in the league came to an abrupt end in 2004. On December 15, 2005, Russell and his former USC teammate Mike Bastianelli lost their lives in a devastating car accident in Los Angeles. Bastianelli was driving Russell's 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix when he reportedly lost control at high speed. The vehicle collided with a parked bus and rolled several times before coming to rest. Both men were pronounced dead at the scene. Bastianelli, who had been a wide receiver at USC, was a close friend of Russell's, and the tragedy shocked the football community. The car was owned by another former USC player, Larry Parker, who had lent it to the two friends the night before. Russell's untimely death at 29 years old marked the end of a life that had the potential for redemption and further greatness. Another devastating event that rocked the sports world was the death of Junior Seau, one of the league's most revered linebackers, who took his own life on May 2, 2012, at the age of 43. Junior Seau's passing shocked the football community, not just because of his stature in the sport, but because of the circumstances surrounding his death. Seau, who played 20 seasons in the NFL, was a 12-time Pro Bowl selection and widely regarded as one of the best linebackers in history. He spent the prime of his career with the San Diego Chargers, where his intensity, leadership, and ability to dominate both the run and pass game earned him a spot in the Pro Football Hall of Fame posthumously. Despite his accolades, Seau struggled with mental health issues after retirement. On the morning of May 2, 2012, Seau was found dead in his Oceanside, California home from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest. His death led to questions about the long-term effects of repetitive head trauma in football, a topic that had been gaining traction in the sports and medical communities. Following his death, Seau's family donated his brain to research. An autopsy revealed that he had suffered from chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a degenerative brain disease linked to repeated head injuries. CTE symptoms include memory loss, depression, and mood swings, issues that Seau reportedly battled in his final years. His death became a pivotal moment in raising awareness about player safety and the risks associated with concussions in football. Seau's story, like that of Sean Taylor, highlights the duality of professional athletes who are celebrated for their strength on the field but face silent struggles off it. Another player who has suffered such a fate as this is Pat Tillman, whose profound sense of duty led him to trade his NFL career for military service after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. His life, legacy, and death remain etched in the collective memory of football fans and patriots alike. Pat Tillman, a safety for the Arizona Cardinals, was at the height of his NFL career when the September 11th attacks occurred. Deeply moved by the events, Tillman turned down a multi-million-dollar contract extension to enlist in the U.S. Army in May 2002. He saw it as a moral obligation to serve his country during a time of crisis. Tillman joined the elite elite Army Rangers, exemplifying the same determination and discipline that made him a standout in football. On April 22, 2004, while serving in Afghanistan, Tillman was tragically killed in a friendly fire incident. He and his unit were conducting operations in rugged terrain when a miscommunication among soldiers led to Tillman being mistakenly shot by his comrades. The circumstances surrounding his death were initially obscured by the military, which portrayed him as a heroic combat casualty. The truth that Tillman's death was caused by friendly fire emerged weeks later, adding a layer of heartbreak and controversy to his sacrifice. Tillman's death led to national debates about the conduct of war, military transparency, and the treatment of soldiers. His sacrifice is honored annually by the NFL through initiatives like the Pat Tillman Foundation, which supports military veterans and their families through scholarships and leadership programs. Tillman's jersey number, 42, was retired by the Arizona Cardinals, and his story is frequently invoked as a symbol of courage, service, and integrity. Thank you for sticking with us till the end of this tale. For more stories like this, click the card on display. Until another time,